Follow us on Twitter. Insights.
Yeah.
2 I's in the middle. INSIIGHTS.
All right, y'all.
Hello, everybody. We're here today with a whole lot to talk about on the Sports Talk Show. But it's the start of the NFL season, and with me, my legendary host, the man known about town, the man shoots them from downtown. That would be Rick Brown, the reporter. What's up, Rick?
Swish. What's happening, Coach? It is that time. It is NFL. Are you ready for some football, people? Let's go. What's happening, man?
I know that's right, boy. And we got one of the, I know you had to pick it for one of those top games, but Dallas and Cleveland, we'll talk about it, boy. Woo, I already know. I hadn't seen it, but I know. Man, it's that time of year. You know, baseball, I'm just going to be honest. I liked baseball more when I was younger. And I guess I lived in Cleveland. So, you know, when you live in a large city, that's one of the things you miss when you leave is the professional sports. And we're in a college town. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it, but it's nothing like when you grow up with pro sports. Now, the biggest thing they did in baseball was shorten the game with those time between the pitches. Oh, that everybody argued that I was going to take something out of the game. No, it cut 20 to 30 minutes off of some games. It's
ridiculous, Coach. They were doing like 3+ hours, 3.5 hours for games, and now it's every game is at least. I mean, it's around 2:30. I mean,
right.
Hey, that's a good time for baseball. And you're right. Yeah. I was like you. I was wondering if this was going to work. I mean, from the pitchers taking their time and the batters changing everything and feeling all around each pitch. And like, man, I used to be in the press box after a pitch. Like, hey, can I let me get that drink there. And let me get some food to go with that one. And and then write a little letter and sing a song, and then they throw the next pitch. It was crazy. So I'm glad they did something and it worked out. Hey, Diva, what's happening?
Sports Diva, Coach Rick, hey. And then the next question, wait, where's Jeremiah? Jeremiah came home from school. He didn't speak to me. I said, man, what's up, Papa? I'm getting ready to go to bed. I said, you tired? Yes, Papa. I said, you can't be that tired. My wife said, yes, he is. We ain't seen him since. That was about 3:30. We ain't seen him since.
We know what that means.
Not a boy. He'll get up by 10, 11, won't go to sleep till 4 o'clock in the morning. That's that. We used to call him night walker. I mean, he stay up all night, be doing stuff. It hadn't changed much since he got bigger. And that's one sport I could never really get him into in the baseball. He likes to move, and it just wasn't fast enough for him. So he's actually back. He's wants to play flag football. He took off last year, but he's out there, and I guess his little confidence getting up because he quicker than everybody else out there. I don't know what that's going to translate to come game time. They might not win now game, but grandma, we gonna be there. And when you all get a little bit older, you gonna be right there. Sports TV say got a social life. Always has. Got his own little fan club for real. So I'm not mad about that at all. It is what it is. But so you get a little bit more love for baseball now. Rick, you played baseball, didn't you?
I played baseball. Matter of fact, it was the best sport I played, but I didn't like it like that. Now, I got more into it later because I was just playing off of talent. I didn't understand the intricacies of the game. But once I started learning that, oh my gosh, I love baseball. I mean, I watch the Sorry Nationals today now, just because watching their young talent grow. I love baseball now, and I didn't get my kids into it because I didn't like it like that, like basketball and football. But now I sit back and think, darn it, should have got them short dudes into that sport.
But I like baseball at first, and I can tell you, boy, I was a power hitter playing first base and some pitching. You know, fastballs didn't get me, but when they learned how to throw curves, it was time for me to go. They come in here like this. I said, "Oh, no, y'all messing with me now. I'm gonna have to give this up. I have to find something else because I'm not going to roll with that. That is not an option. No, I ain't going to get hit by the ball.
No. I'll get out of the way. You ain't gonna hit me. You ain't gonna hit me. But them curveballs, they're nasty. they make you look foolish. You think an Allen Iverson, Kyrie Irving crossover make you look foolish? In baseball, curveball makes people look silly.
Yeah, it does.
Rather silly.
Well, you saw Colorado last week. What was your thought?
I thought that North Dakota State was a good team, and people underestimated them. I knew that was going to be a good game just because I didn't think Colorado really has enough to be a power team right now. Whereas North Dakota State, they had all season to prepare for this one game, Coach. They had all off season to prepare for this one game. And usually you see teams like that, especially the smaller classification teams, they put all their eggs into that one basket. And they were right there with them. They were right there for 3.5 quarters.
Well, they have an excellent program.
So I think it was more of them than Colorado. I'm sorry.
You know, they have an excellent program anyway. Then they had a new coach. So, you know, and it's hard to prepare for a new coach that doesn't have a history with the program. Conversely, fam, you had a new coach, but he had been in the program for a couple years. And South Carolina State had a new coach, and that was their first game. And he had, I think, 12, 13 transfers from Benedict that left and came with him. And he had 2 out of his last 3 seasons were undefeated at Benedict. And that's how he ended up getting the job at South Carolina State. And the quarterback from his first undefeated season at Benedict transferred. I think he went to William and Mary, but he came back to play Division I for his coach. So, I mean, they were nothing to play with. And this is what I like. I like the fact that our coaching staff made adjustments and came back each game and won. Now that's coaching. I don't care what anybody says. What happens at halftime really, really determines what happens, win, lose, or draw. If you can make adjustments, if you and your coaching staff can get together to try to figure that thing out.
Yeah, I totally agree. Adjustments are and coaching is more prevalent at this level than people realize. It concerns me, though, the slow starts that FAMU has had for 2 weeks straight. And getting into after this coming week, once we get into the SWAC season, they can't have too many slow starts with these teams here. So it's going to be interesting to see how they progress moving forward.
Well, they'll be okay. They're doing better than expected to me. And it takes a while to get that staff together and to come out and figure out what you're doing. So it takes a minute. I'm pleased they were able to do it. I don't think they're going to completely come out. We actually have some comments that we got straight from the SWAC Media Day. And I won't speak about Coach Cozy and one of his comments, but a lot of the coaches that we think that will have something to do with or have some interesting comments, we have a little piece on them. But you'll get a chance to hear some things and why I kind of, as a former coach, kind of like his approach to things. So, you know, now on the negative side, as good a football weekend as last week was, this week, it's only one game that's one you really want to see, and that's Texas at Michigan. And that's 5 and 10, and that's at 12 o'clock. You know, FAMU and Miami will all watch some of that anyway. Some of that, because we got to see the orange and green and see who the real orange and green is. But it's a tough road for our team to go down there. We just don't need anybody hurt. But we were able to, you know, Colorado is playing, and them against Nebraska at Nebraska will be a good game as well. So it'll be interesting to see. But the slate is not as attractive as it was last week to me. It was just so many games. You could watch game after game, and it was spread out over 3 or 4 days. You know, it was just really a lot going on.
Yes. And they call it week 1. You know, I don't believe in week zeros. Sorry, John Grant. I'm just not a week 0 person because I don't believe you can have a number at 0. That's just my DC learning. Sorry. But you're right, Coach. The opening week last week, a lot of games all weekend through the holidays. Now, this week, but I'll find a game or two to stay up from 12 to 12. I have to. I'll find a game out west somewhere to check out a Boise State or some team I hadn't seen and not paid attention to.
What I like best about football on Saturday is you can go to sleep, catch a nap, and get up and still catch the fourth quarter. You know, that's what I like best about it. I mean, if it's a boring game and I got my 20-30 wings sitting there, you know, and in Tallahassee, the best place to get smoked wings is Hammer Knockers. You might have to go to Wakulla and get them, but my God, they're worth it. And you can just chill after that. So that's pretty much what it is. Now, high school game of the week, the Big Bend game of the week last week with Gainesville Eastside with a 9th grade starting quarterback, 10th graders, 11th graders. Man, Ricketts jumped out on them. It was like 30-6 going in the fourth quarter, going in the third quarter. Man, Gainesville Eastside ended up losing by 6. They came roaring back. So Ricketts has done really very good. They're posting 3-0 record, and they go to Panama City, Panama Mosley this week. And so it'll be very interesting to see how that unfolds for Ricketts as they go through this season. You know, so we will,
game.
Yeah, and their first one. The game we wanted to see that we got asked about covering was Thomas County visiting Thomasville. On the Godby Ricketts game, we had a lot of people call and ask us 2 things. When we going to do the middle school games, which we did 2 middle school games about 3 or 4 years ago and got almost 6,000 views on them. People watch the middle school games. Don't go to sleep on it. And they asked if we were coming to Thomasville to do Thomas County. Well, Thomasville said, they already had somebody doing the game, and it wasn't room for us to be there, which was really kind of surprising because we've operated before like that. And Thomasville High has the first school that told us that they wanted to work with us, and we've been there every year. So this will be the first year we don't actually cover a Thomasville game. But it is what it is, and we're going to roll it, you know. Climate's change, administrative change. Some people like to work with some people, and hey, we're good with it. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. You know, we're okay with it.
We appreciate it. We appreciate their support. And thank you for the times we had there. It's time to move on. Okay. It's time to move on.
Yeah, because we're still trying to coordinate getting to Daleville, Alabama to see Coach Freeman, but that's 2.5 hours. That's a rough one there. That's a rough one there. But another program that we have that continues to do well for us, and ladies and gentlemen, we do have a special interview with one of my former players, my former point guard who led us to the NCAA tournament, all conference guard, was interim head coach at Southern and assistant in Louisiana. We have a special interview coming up with him in a minute, but another program.
Hello, my name is Kingston Kimber, your inside student correspondent here at James District High School, and this is our weekly sports recap. First, congratulations to our Lady Raiders volleyball teams and our football teams in their victories last week. This week, our Raiders golf teams, bowling, and cross-country teams have local matches. Today, our Lady Raiders volleyball teams have home games against Crossroads and Waconia. And Friday, our varsity football team will be traveling to Pensacola to take on Boys. Once again, I'm Kingston Kimber, as always, One Nation, Raider Nation. Now with me is senior Corey Brown, who is this year's Lady Raiders volleyball team captain.
Hi.
So Corey, how did it feel to beat our rival Gabi in a dominating game?
It felt really good. It was good. I'm really proud of my team.
As captain, what are your goals for the season?
To win as well as improve and show that we aren't just Rickers. We're Rickers volleyball. We come to play.
And finally, when did you first start playing volleyball?
When I was 9 years old.
Oh, what inspired you?
My mom.
Thank you, Corey.
You're welcome.
Once again, I'm Kingston Kimber, as always, One Nation, Raider Nation.
Bye.
Hello, my name is Kingston Kimber, your inside student.
Kingston actually interviewed a young lady. I mean, he does his storylines himself. He's a ninth grader.
Wow.
And as he relaxes, he'll talk a little slower, but he kind of almost nervous. But the volleyball girl was a real good touch, and she was real personable. And I really like the fact that we have him, and he's doing as well as he is.
Man, that brings joy to me, man, that the younger generation still wants to do this, do this profession, be in this profession, and that he's doing his own scripts and writing and doing his own interviews. That's great as a ninth grader. That's That was awesome. And what really got me is he had his notes on the phone. That's the thing there. Everyone has the notes, or at least he didn't do like we used to do, just have the phone as a microphone, have it up to the face. So he was doing. I'm impressed. I'm impressed for a ninth grader that he has those skills. Good job, Kingston. Good job.
He did a good job. And along that line, this week on another show that we have wow. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
long way from home.
How'd you end up in Orangeburg?
I actually never heard about Claflin until I got an offer from the previous coach here when I was playing in the AAU tournament my senior year. So I got the offer, did my research, and funny thing about it wasn't a lot online about, well, not online, but on social media about Claflin. So that's another reason why I, find interest in putting us out there and letting people see what we do. So people like me, if I'm getting recruited and I don't see anything about Claflin, it's going to pull me away from accepting that offer or even going to visit the school. So I'm glad that it didn't hold me back. I actually went on a visit. I came here. I had a great visit, and I just fell in love with the campus, the family feel to it. So I committed, and I've been here ever since. It's my 5th year. So,
ladies and gentlemen, this is Mickey Clayton, the coach, and we're here, the Claflin Athletics Show, season number 3. And we have a completely different kind of show, but again, kind of similar. Again, with the students, we have Janelle Sample, Stephen Darway II, with the Claflin Content Creation Team. Welcome to the show, y'all.
Thank you for having us.
I knew something was going on just seeing what was going on with social media. I knew there had been a rebirth of something that was exploding all over everywhere. I need y'all. So now I found out you two are behind that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Tell us how that got started.
Well, I'll let you explain first because you kind of been here.
Okay. Well, ever since I've been here, I've seen that we probably should, get some newer content out there, a younger feel almost. And I've always been interested in stuff like that. So I try to get my input here and there. And then they started to listen to me. I started taking pictures here, but not quite having control of like what is put out fully. But then that's where Steph came in, and
Claflin content creator team, and the stuff that they're putting out for the Claflin athletic department, man, it's been blowing me away. So that's the segment that comes out on the Claflin Athletics show. That episode premieres tomorrow, but we just kind of letting people know a little bit about what's going on at Claflin. Again, the youth being served.
And I like what she said. She said it needed a little younger feel, and instead of just talking about it, she was about it, and went and jumped in it. I thought that was good. That's how you do it. That's how you stake your own claim. That's how you make your own moves. Good job, kids.
Yes, and one of them, his cousin works with the New York Knicks doing creative content, and has been with the Bucks and another pro team, and helped inspire him to do it, that this is what he wants to do. So it's really kind of interesting that when you do some things, how you motivate a whole generation under you to do those type of things. And I know, since that's exactly what your background was, that, it kind of warms your heart a little bit to see some of them coming up and being creative like that to do things like that. Well, we say
a lot of these kids are more talented than my class was, Coach. It's just amazing to see, and they have so much more advantages, and they take advantage of their own advantages. So it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool.
Now, say something here about Rick Brown, who did a special for y'all.
The NFL season starts tomorrow, and all fan bases think their squad actually has a chance of winning the Super Bowl this year. Before we let you know the 3 games you should check out on opening week, let's look at a couple of games to take a sneak peek at. On Sunday at 1 p.m., the Pittsburgh Steelers at Atlanta Falcons. All eyes will be on the new quarterbacks in this one. Can Pittsburgh's Russell Wilson find the mojo that once made him one of the best in the league? Can Atlanta new quarterback Kirk Cousins overcome injury to reclaim Pro Bowl status? We will see. Sunday at 4:25 p.m., the Dallas Cowboys travel to take on the Cleveland Browns. The theme of this game should be, is this finally the year? We all know Dallas fans and team says every year that this is their year. Well, is it? Cleveland has been up and down, but has mostly been on a projection up until they make the playoffs. Can they get over the hump? This game will likely come down to if Cleveland's offense can do much with the Dallas defense. Now, for the top 3 games of the week. At number 3, the Green Bay Packers versus the Philadelphia Eagles in Sao Paulo, Brazil on Friday. These 2 NFC playoff contenders will square off in the season opening battle. Green Bay shocked some behind quarterback Jordan Love winning the playoff game when they beat Dallas. They won't be able to sneak up on teams this year. Philly, on the other hand, collapsed at the end of last season, losing 6 of the last 7 games, including a first-round loss against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Pressure's on the Eagles to prove that collapse was just a fluke. Number 2, the New York Jets versus San Francisco 49ers. New York's hopes were dashed last year, just 4 plays into the season, when quarterback Aaron Rodgers went down. Can he overcome the rust and guide the Jets to a playoff appearance? San Fran has been one of the best teams in the NFC the last few years, and making it to the Super Bowl last year before falling to the Chiefs. They're stacked again on both sides of the ball and will be one of the favorites again this year. The number one game of the week? Well, the first game of the NFL season, of course. The two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs take on the reigning MVP Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. This is a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game, and we expect it to be played at a high level. Kansas City is looking for an NFL record third straight Super Bowl win. Meanwhile, Baltimore wants to get back to the title game. We expect to see both of these teams deep in the playoffs, so a win or a loss at this stage likely won't make much of a difference. Still, it is always fun to see top teams go at it early. All right, folks, let the season begin.
Why'd you pick those three games?
Well, the number one game was a no-brainer to me. You did the defending Super Bowl champions versus their AFC championship opponent. That was no-brainer.
That's a great
two MVP candidates.
That's a great way to kick off the NFL season on Thursday night.
It is, and I hope they do that more often. I know last year they did with Kansas City when they played Detroit, even though they lost. But still, I think that's what you do to build excitement up. Mm-hmm. Let's see. The Eagle game, just because of kind of a contrast, it's first is being played in Brazil, which is the first. And then these two teams, what is Green Bay? Are they for real? Was last year just a fluke? Is Jordan Love for real? And then the collapse by the Eagles, it's got people wondering. They are favored to win the NFC East, but still, a lot of pressures on the Eagles. So some of the reasons why I picked these games.
Well, the Eagles might be picked to win the East by default. I mean,
I know one person who would be who would question you about that, but
yeah. It might be by default.
I won't.
You know, I'm just curious about them. I think that's an interesting one. Didn't they have an issue in Brazil and the field or something one time they were trying to play over there a few years back?
Something happened. It may have been a preseason game, so they may have just scuttled that game. I remember there was an issue somewhere. I'm not exactly sure of the of what it was, though, Coach, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but what about your Browns? Let me hear you.
I mean, we haven't played anybody during the exhibition season. We've had nobody. I mean, none of our players have been in the games. Deshaun has not played at all, and he's coming off season-ending injury. We were down now 5th and 6th tackles, and our top 3 tackles still haven't played. One of them got cleared to practice last week, and they're moving him from right tackle to left tackle because there wasn't anybody at that spot. And that's why they didn't play Deshaun in the final exhibition game, because they didn't think they had anybody to protect it. You know, so with those injuries, I expect Micah Parsons is going to have a field day. They'll have to keep another person in to chip and help block. And we still have no running game because Nick Chubb isn't back. And Foreman was hurt. We were just there's no excuses. I mean, the season ended with a lot of injuries, and we still have a lot of injuries now. And guys just didn't practice. And I don't know if that was by plan or what. Jed Wills was at practice today, but there's no way he could practice this weekend. I mean, he wasn't great when he was practicing every day. So I'm not optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all. You know?
Just the first game, though. I mean, you're going to improve moving as the season progresses, or are you just like, I don't know?
It depends, because we haven't seen them. They put in a new offense. They got new offensive coordinator, Deshaun. They're still trying to compare him to Texas Sean, and I don't think he'll ever be that again. But he doesn't have to play hero ball to be successful in Cleveland. He was all of that in Texas, and he was the best player on the team, but he's not the best player on the team now. Best player on the team is the defensive player of the year. Then you had Nick Chubb. He was the best offensive player of the team. So it's some things with Cleveland. It's the first game. I'm hyped about the first game, but the way they've handled the preseason, all the Cleveland fans are like, what in the world is really going on? Then Denzel had his 5th concussion. At some point, the conversation was, is he going to continue his career? And he said he never thought that he wasn't going to play. So I don't know. I don't know, but I'm waiting for tomorrow and see what's going to happen. It should be interesting because that's in our division, and that's where we have to get out of that division. They're in the American Conference, so it's going to be a little rough to get out. So we will see.
AFC is rough. The AFC is tough. Whereas in the NFC, you can say 5 teams are jockeying, but everyone's chasing San Fran in the NFC. Period.
Yeah.
AFC, KC is 1-2 straight, but Baltimore, the Texans are rising. You don't know about the old teams, the Steelers. What about Russ? Is he the answer, or is Fields the answer, or is it time to clean house? They did some reloading on defense that's going to make them tougher this year. The AFC is tough.
Yeah, and it's going to be very, very, very interesting. Now, Rick did assignment, y'all, and I really wanted. You should see the exchanges that we have about assignment. And I had to explain to Rick. He was like, I can't find any film on it. I said, no, Rick, we want to know based on your experiences about this. So without further ado, I'm going to be like you. I'll be listening to see.
Covering sporting events has been something I've wanted to do in earnest since junior high school. My thought was to venture into the business after playing professionally. But once I figured out I couldn't hit a 3-2 curveball, it was time to change up and write about those who could. Since 1991, I've covered 2 Super Bowls, a men's Final Four, an NBA Final, numerous college football BCS national championships and other bowl games, numerous high school state championships, and my highlight, traveling to Canada to cover a Stanley Cup final in the NHL. Having covered sports from Little League all the way to professional stages, there are a lot of great things still about this profession. There are some drawbacks. Well, at least to me, there are drawbacks. You see, covering high school sports give you the greatest access to a team. It is also, to me, the purest of all the sports, where the kids are playing not only for potential future scholarships, but for the love of the game. For the reporter covering them, the only thing given to you is free parking and interest to the game, and maybe some beverages and a hot dog, but not at all places. You may have to sit in the stands or, like I did in the second half of games, walk the sidelines. But being in the middle of the action, you may have to dodge players here and there, but the atmosphere there, you hear and feel everything that is happening. Covering high school football, you also have to keep your own stats and add it up prior to writing your story. No one is going to tell you how many yards a quarterback has thrown or a running back has run. Oh, and did I mention the deadlines? They're not fun, especially if you have a game an hour away and your deadline is 30 minutes from now. I cannot tell you the number of times I had to find a fast food restaurant to use their Wi-Fi to write us in my story. But when you nail it, there is no better feeling. Then covering colleges, that was fun because it allowed me to travel to stadiums like Neyland and Knoxville and Bryant-Denny and Tuscaloosa. I even got a chance to cover at least one game a year at Bragg. There, though, you get your play-by-play stats and the regular stats provided. But access to the field, however, is reserved until after the game, if at all. But the fans, man, hearing 100,000 people cheer for their team, or being in the swamp with the windows down and a big play by the Gators happen, that atmosphere cannot be beat. Now, you do have to go through team staff to talk to players and coaches, and sometimes you get denied. Schools often provided you with a halftime and perhaps a post-game meal. And depending on what time the game was, you either had extremely tight deadlines for any event that started after 7 p.m., or you could breeze and take your time if you had a noon to maybe 3:30 game start. Plus, you could write from the stadium press box. No need to run to McDonald's or no other place. And once you left there, it was either relaxation time at the hotel until your early flight, because you had to get home for the next day press conference, or if you were close, a smooth drive back home. Now, covering the NFL, they make the big bucks, and you can see why. I mean, most teams have a full spread of food and desserts for the entire game and a post-game meal. Staffers provide you with stats and play-by-play books and notes for both teams. You don't have to go to the locker room if you don't want to, as they pipe in the press conferences from the head coach and the quarterback. They also provide you with quotes from notable team players. It really is easy to cover the NFL. The traveling, oh my goodness, seeing games in San Fran and Kansas City, Seattle and Chicago, to name a few, iconic. Going to Buffalo and visiting Niagara Falls was in itself awesome, as was flying to D.C. or BWI in Baltimore to cover the Skins or Ravens and getting to see my family. You can't beat that. Deadlines like the college game depend on what time the game is. Regardless, it's usually a long day for the NFL. For 1 p.m. games, I would get there no later than 11 and leave around 9-ish. For 4 p.m. games, we get there no later than 2 and would be there between 10 and midnight. And then for the dreaded 8 o'clock games, I would get there no later than 6 and sometimes wouldn't get out until after 1 a.m. Like I said, very long day. Access to the players is really regulated. And even with open locker room, the players may decide not to come in during the 45 minutes the media is allowed during the week. Or during the games, after the games, they may leave and not talk to you. Also, depending on how good your team is, you may find yourself covering games on Christmas Day and definitely on New Year's if the games fall on that day. Still, even with early morning flights back home and the stringent rules, covering the NFL is pretty darn cool. But if you decide this is something you want to make a profession or want to be a journalist in general, here's one bit of advice. Become proficient in covering high school football. The skills developed during this will set you up for covering any other event for the rest of your life.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Coach Lewis from Ricketts High School, born and raised in South City, from Tallahassee. I want y'all to make sure you view this insight stuff, man, and make sure you dialed in, because they're gonna broadcast Ricketts High School to the fullest. My guy Mick and his staff gonna do a great job, and and make sure you part of it now, because it's gonna be a blessing. It's gonna be a show, and they're gonna have exclusive rights to this Ricketts High stuff. You don't hop on in, all right? Thank you.
That was a good piece, Rick.
Thanks, Coach. It took me down memory lane on some of the events that I've covered. I mean, geez, cover so much. And you don't think about it when you're in the mix, when you're doing it. You know, you're not thinking about the deadlines. You're not thinking about the players that you've covered. You know, you're just doing the job. But doing that piece just made me smile a little bit, and finding some pictures, old pictures of when I was at Niagara Falls, or at the spot where Dwight Clark caught the pass against Dallas at Old Candlestick Park. Yeah, those memories will always stick with me. Always. Just awesome. Awesome.
We could see it in your face as you retell it. It showed in your story. And we appreciate you taking the time and understanding the assignment and doing it like you did.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today with the new head basketball coach. We say Chatt Valley, but it's Chattahoochee Valley. Is it Chattahoochee Valley State Community College?
No, just Chattahoochee Valley Community College.
Congratulations, Coach Scott. Tell us what it's been like, because I know it has been a whirlwind for you for the last week or two.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know, being hired, 2 Mondays ago? You know, getting in here, trying to get to work to put a roster together, because we need kids, you know, to play, and trying to get working on the schedule and everything like that. It has definitely been a whirlwind.
What's been your biggest challenge just coming in?
Biggest challenge probably would be just getting to know the campus and getting to know the people around here. You know, I'm a big fan of people. I'm a people person, so I really like to get to know people a ton. So just spending time with people on campus, trying to get the lay of the land, and kind of knowing the process of how, you know, they operate around here and things of that nature.
I'm going to edit this out. Make sure as we go through this that you make sure you give thanks and appreciation to the people who've helped you get here and have been really friendly to you, and that, because you're still working on selling those relationships. Okay. You know,
I guess I didn't edit that out, huh?
Coach, you know, you came from Louisiana.
I guess I didn't edit that out. I was supposed to edit it out.
You've been in high school. You've been in junior college. You've been at Florida A&M University. What are those things help? What have those things done for you to prepare you for where you are right now?
What are those things have done? Well, first of all, going to school at Florida A&M taught me a lot. You know, of course, having you as a coach, you know, you taught me a lot about growing up. I still tell everybody a story about you telling me I need to go speak to a certain lady back there in financial aid, and I just go in there and I sit there and I'm waiting like every other kid, waiting my turn, and I don't open my mouth to say I need to see such and such, you know. So, and that taught me a lesson. Like, okay, he told me to go say I need to speak to Miss Smith. I need to go speak to Miss Smith. And once I said that, boom, things started to happen. You know, just little things like that I picked up from you just right away. And then every stop, you know, you're going to learn something different, you know, some trick of the trade that's going to help you, you know, grow as a coach, grow as a person. And the biggest thing to me is the relationships that you build on campus with the people that, you know, help you get through. You know, I still got a big following at Southern of people that come in. They called the other day and they like, Coach, we didn't even know you got that job over there, man. Congratulations, and things like that. So it's the relationships that you build that every stop of the way that still stick with you and stay with you the whole time.
What are some of the things that have you excited about Chatt Valley? Because I know just driving up through Phoenix City and coming on campus, I was very impressed.
I was shocked too. You know, being up here, you know, you hear Phoenix City and you think just small town, small living, real country, rural town, but it's an actual city. So, you know, got a lot of potential, plenty of restaurants, a lot of good places to eat. Actually, this weekend they had a food festival, so I went downtown and bounced around from a couple different restaurants, and and was tasting some food and things of that nature, man. And they got good food out here. And I mean, it was shocking to see how many people were out and about this weekend and at the downtown area. So I think it's a really good city, really good area, family oriented. I enjoyed here on campus the same kind of way. You know, a lot of people helping, got their hand out trying to help me get through this process as well. So I think it's a great place.
It sounds like it's a very nurturing place. It is a friendly place. It seems like they welcome you, Coach.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, President Scrooge has done a great job of bringing me in and getting me a part of, you know, getting acclimated to everybody. And, you know, with Dr. Taylor, you know, Dean of Students, she definitely does a wonderful job of, you know, having meetings and things like that, and let me know that, you know, if anything goes wrong, Coach, contact me. Here's my cell phone number. You know, she does a great job. She actually, you know, she says, "Now, Coach, you're gonna have to keep me off the court because I'll be at all the games and try to be your assistant coach, because I kind of wanted to be a coach back in my past." So I'm tickled to death to be here, you know, to be able to work with her as well, and you know, and all the coaches around here. You know, the baseball coach has been really good, you know, at bringing me in and actually outfitting me some, you know, giving me a couple of hats and t-shirts. Softball coach actually, you know, provided my family with gear. So everybody's done a good job. And of course the women's assistant coach, he kind of like my assistant at the same, I mean, the women's head coach is like my assistant coach at the same time. He's been taking me around. He actually do the tours for me when I bring recruits in right now, because I don't know everything. So this place has been amazing so far, and because like you said, it's a nurturing atmosphere, man, and everybody's on the same page, and we're all about winning around here. So I think if you do it together that way, man, and we can stay on this path, I think great things are coming to Chatt Valley.
Coach, it gets everybody excited just to hear you excited. And when I drove around the tree-lined entrance, where it was just really a majestic entrance to the campus and the athletic facilities, Coach, you have some pretty nice athletic facilities here.
Yeah, we do. You know, even here with our gymnasium, I mean, it's pretty nice for, you know, community college, but you know, that brand new softball field down there that they have is like top of the line, and they're about to do some renovation to the baseball field. So they got a lot of good stuff going on here at Chatt Valley.
Okay, Coach, in closing, what would you like to say to the people out there about watching, supporting Chatt Valley and keeping up with you? What would you like to be able to say to them?
Man, just stay tuned, because we're going to try to get this program going in the right direction where we're competing at a high level, and everybody going to want to come here and be a part of this Pirate Nation.
Thanks, Coach.
I think I actually like the
Chatt Valley.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kind of proud of Morris and what he's gone through to be able to get in there and get this position again to be head coach. You know, you only get so many chances to do it, but he really likes it there. So we'll see what happens. Follow us at Insight. You know, I'm gonna support it.
Position. All right, because again, you know, it's a place that he solidified and things of that nature. Well, this past game, you know, our field corner was doing a heck of a job of watching the quarterback. So since he was doing such a good job of watching the quarterback, I allowed him to watch the quarterback from the sideline. He wanted to watch the quarterback during the game, so I allowed him to watch the quarterback from the sideline. So then I had to make Kendall Bowler put him back to the field corner spot. So he's doing a great job of being resilient, you know, playing the field corner and playing the boundary corner, different techniques, different mindsets. So he started off a boundary, moved to field, did a really, really good job at that position. And if he has aspirations of playing at the next level, which I think he'll be a really, really good player at the next level, he's going to cover some guys that are also at the next level. So, you know, he understands that his techniques need to be sound. He understands that the mindset needs to be great. He got to be physical at the line. He's got to do all of the things that he's done or is doing. I mean, we had a couple instances where we, you know, get some unbalance and some tackle over, and we weren't shifting as quickly as we needed to be. You know, South Carolina State, that's what they're known for. They want to run the football, control the clock, and they did that. Guys broke a couple tackles. Where we're striving on being better tacklers. So it's an ongoing process with us as far as making sure we're aligned correctly, making sure we're fitting the right gaps. There's a standard around here where we want to make sure they're under 100 yards. So we haven't done that yet, right? It's the first 2 games, so we are below our standard as far as what we want to be doing defensively. So we're making a couple personnel changes where we need to make sure we're taking care of the run before we can take care of the pass. So got a couple things we're going to do differently. A couple guys, our plan is to play a lot more defensive linemen to keep them fresh. But we still got some things we got to work on. And obviously going against the University of Miami this weekend, we better short up rather quickly because they can go over 150, 200 yards as well.
And that goes into my second question. We're going up against Miami, looking like the Miami of old from back in the day. Cam Ward, who's the transfer coming from Washington State. What are your plans as far as pass defense to limit his throws for Saturday?
Well, you got to tighten the windows down, right? Obviously he's and it's not just covering the guy the first time, right? You might have to cover a guy after he scrambles, right? And that's obviously working on what we call our plaster defense. So you could do a great job covering him the first time.
We have Miles College coming at home this week. They beat us last year, so they're going to come here expecting to win. Coach Sam Shade is a guy that I have a lot of respect for. He'll have those guys ready to play hard, but in the meantime, it's our home opener, so we have to play like it. We have to protect our house. We have to let everybody know, especially Miles, that, hey, we're expecting to win this game, and that's what I'm telling the kids. And so we just have to bounce back. We had a great day of practice today, and we're already on that track.
Again, then starting off with the game, it's a game where, again, telling guys, my guys all week long, again, no matter, that we got, 9 wins, we still got to play the game. And we left a lot of things out there offensively, dropping a lot of balls. We had a chance to, in the red zone, go in and score. And Coach Lucas, should I say, got, tried to run it. And, as he found out, you can't, go against some guys, you got to learn how to slide at some point, and he never hurt his shoulder at that particular time. But again, at that particular time, I thought, we was going back and forth. It was going to be a defensive battle throughout the whole game. But unfortunately, for us, I think we got a little tired, a little worn down in the fourth quarter. And, Texas Southern took advantage of it. We had many chances, going back and looking at film, showing the guys yesterday that if they just had executed half of the plays that we looked at yesterday, it would have been a different game. We're dropping a lot of balls. We missed a big throw to James Burns on a big throw on a goal that I think would have surely changed the momentum of the game. And then again, just defensively, when having a chance to get off the field on third down, something always happened. We'd get a penalty, and then it would sustain the drive. So again, we just got to make sure that we, get these guys ready to go for Northwestern coming up. Again, not a bad game defensively, not a bad game offensively, but again, just got to, cut down on the mistakes and make the plays that they're capable of making. I would love to, as we talked to the staff, run the ball a little bit more, and open it up a little bit more. We got 4 guys back there that can go, so we need to, put the ball in their hands and see what they can do. And so we're going to definitely do that this week as well. So again, just getting back to the fundamentals, and again, just making sure that these guys understand, that game is over with. We got to get ready for Northwestern and, get back on the winning streak.
Yes, it definitely is. And then, our players, our community are looking forward to it. Especially when you have an opportunity to have the band there in comparison to not, that's a big deal, So, it's going to be exciting, and we're looking forward to it. And like I said, these players deserve to have a season opener in front of their community.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
You too.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speak to you again next week.
Yes, sir. You as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we go to Florida A&M. Coach Colsey, once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we've got additional time allotted, we will work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Colsey with Florida A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's everyone doing?
Doing great, Coach.
Compare where your program is today after week one to last year where your program was after week one?
Well, I think last year, the players really didn't know what to expect. Now, this year, they understand what we want and how we want it. And it's more so being a player-led team, which that's what we as a staff envision. So, that's basically where we're at. And the players are more understanding, what to do and how to do it instead of us telling them everything. And then we're expecting the what's, are they going to respond? Well, now they're responding to the coaching and the vision that we have in place for them.
And after week one, are you more confident about where you'll end up in the SWAC or less confident?
Well, I'm confident because, like I said, I feel like we got several guys playing different spots. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Obviously, they're doing what we thought they were going to do. Having depth now is a big key. Obviously, when you go back to last year, only having 9 offensive linemen, now you got 17. So, that's a big confidence builder in itself, being able to go out and at least recruit in comparison to last year, just inheriting, a team. Now you got competition that if those guys look behind them, they at least see somebody trying to get better to take their job.
Well, you got to tighten the windows down, right? Obviously he's and it's not just covering the.
I know you still laughing.
I wanted you to play that again. I wanted.
I knew that. Hey, I respect that. I respect that.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
He doesn't. That's what I was saying last week about his interviews. I just think he's really kind of honest and forthright with what he says. They were asking him a question last week, and he said, "Oh, no, you don't have to phrase it like that. They ran the ball down our throats. They naturally kicked out. They kicked our butts. They ran that right down our throats." I said, And see, I remember a reporter telling me that you learn a lot about a coach in a loss, because they're completely different in a loss than they are in a win. Some of them aren't the best interviews after they lose and don't really want to be bothered, but you tell a lot about them, And on that, I got a lot of comments from last week's show about us having a difference of opinion about interviewing and reporters and their angle. And I told them, we don't always see eye to eye. I said, we respect each other. I said, but, he wrote it and answered from a reporter's view, and I could answer it and have my own commentary, from a coach's viewpoint, having been in that spot. So, I said it is what it is. But we keep trying to do something with the SWAC interviews that actually last 2.5 hours. So we have it up there on Roku, but we try to pick out some of the things that we think people might want to see.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Brandon King.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning, Mr. Hill. How you doing?
Doing well. Every coach from high school to the NFL talks about their team dealing with adversity and how they want to handle it. And through your first games, 2 games rather, your team has had some challenges and they've answered the bell both times.
There goes your question.
Already into the season, what can you say about the resiliency that your team has shown, and how proud are you of them for being able to bounce back from all the various challenges that they've faced already?
I'm sorry the music drowned out your response there. Our program gets more questions than any other program in the SWAC. They can almost extend the time for the interview with the FAMU coaches. There are coaches that don't get asked any questions, and the narrator of the SWAC already has some prepared to ask them. But there's some that might get asked 2 or 3 questions, And you have that hand feature that we get to be able to put that up to ask. And when FAMU coach speaks, it's 5 or 6 questions asked, and they don't even get a chance to answer all of them. And not all of those questions are from the Tallahassee reporters. They're from different places.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask. I wonder if, I haven't been all around the SWAC. I was a MEAC guy when I was back in school covering FAM, but so I don't know if these colleges have reporters other than the school newspaper. I know a few have the big city. I know Jackson State does. Cookman had a newspaper there, but I don't know if the other ones do or not.
No, most of them
Southern
are not local reporters. They all identify themselves. They're actually a lot of people from the Black sports media that are on there. I have heard them. I've heard Daytona Beach Journal in there, never the Sentinel, never the Miami paper, once or twice the Democrat, but generally they reach out and touch the coach personally for what they want. But those aren't the ones that are on there. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't take from these interviews what they want, which is what we do. Take something and use it how we wish to use it. And from those coaches that people hit me up with and say, Coach, if you get some comments that you think or answers that you think we might like from such and such a school or such and such, let me know. And see, Bubba McDowell, as we noted on there, he's from University of Miami and Merritt Island. So we get a lot of questions about Bubba and his the Merritt Island alumni that want to know how he's doing and stuff. So that's kind of an easy one to call.
Shout out to Merritt Island one time.
I know that's right. This is the first time in a while somebody from Merritt Island hadn't shout out to us, but we appreciate y'all and all the people that are with us. The NFL season starts. It's going to be interesting to see. High school football, we'll see how that goes. But we'll still cover Thomasville and Thomas County to see who actually won that game, because we have a lot of followers from Thomasville. And they started following us because of what we did at Brooks County. And that game still the most watched game we ever did. It's right about 15,000 hits to watch that game.
You said that was a hell of a game.
Stay up to date with the latest from Insights. Visit our website at insights.com. 2 I's in the middle, INSIIGHTS.
Insights is the copyright of MAC4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of MAC4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of MAC4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on Insights represent their independent thoughts and representation.
Man, thank all y'all who noticed the graphics that we do, even on that closing, and how do we get the eyes moving all around and landing and all the stuff. And we appreciate it. We started this journey. We knew nothing about graphics, but we've been trying to figure it out so we can make our show and our presentations look better for you. And if you look, even the Rick Brown features, he got little stuff going on in the background and sounds and the screen moving. I'm getting scared of him. I'm gonna see what you have,
Coach. Crazy.
I'm gonna see what you do for the Polk County game of the week. That's what I can't wait to see.
1 week away. We're 1 week away. I wanna rock with you, girl, all night. We're gonna have some fun. 1 week. 1 week away. Let's go. Polk County. We're coming.
Next week we need to get you do a little promo on the game on our show so we could do something about the promo for them and interview with the coaches or whatever it is you plan to do. Ladies and gentlemen,
it will be done.
We appreciate y'all. This is Mick and Rick. This is the coach. This is the reporter. We appreciate y'all always being with us. All things #Cleveland and #it's about what, Rick?
The kids.
There you go. It's about the kids. We appreciate y'all. 2 Kappas. Thank y'all.